4 years of your life, you walk down the aisle, you get that piece of paper, and somehow, some way,
I was crazy.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
Sorry, that got me so off guard, bro.
No, keep going. Just keep going.
and somehow you're still struggling to find a job and a career to help you in the future. Welcome to the Triple Take. I'm Manny, and I'm a victim.
I'm Frank. Wow.
I'm a victim. I never had a chance. I'm Joseph.
You never had a chance to be a victim.
And today on the Triple Take, it's going to be kind of a shorter formed episode, but we're going to be talking about the bachelor's degree. Is it even worth getting anymore? You know, previously we've spoken about college, but we're talking about just specifically that 4-year degree, where for the most part, more than likely, your basic subjects are usually formed around that 4-year degree, where your higher ones are PhDs and masters, and where you become doctors, lawyers, stuff. Yeah. So throw that out the window. We're just talking about 4 years. And I'll be honest with you, the 4-year bachelor's degree has lost value over the years, and it continues to lose value now, because having a 4-year bachelor's degree does absolutely nothing. To make it even worse, if you're one of those people, and I'm not clowning you for it, who go for their 2 years associate of science and then try to go into the workforce, I believe that even lowers your chances of finding a great paying salary job. To me, that's even worse. Unless you already have something planned out and had a job lined up that you knew you were going into and all you needed was that. That going to be your future? Is it your job for the future? Are you planning to do that the rest of your life? Because if not, you're going to need even more education. Because it seems like bachelor's degrees and associates of science, associates of arts, those types of degrees are completely starting to lose value. Back in the day, I'm going to start from the back in the day. A high school diploma was all you needed. A high school diploma was it. And a college degree was like, yo, you went to college, fam? Yo, you goated. Now, you went to college for 4 years? You suck. Like...
And I go, 4 more, bro.
You got 4 more, mofo.
Well, you ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, the facts.
So, to put what he just said, or what they said, really, well, what they experienced, let's say that, what they experienced, technically, what was considered the threshold to meet is now really just the bare minimum that isn't even enough, right? Because I may not have gone to college myself like I originally intended and still kind of want to, even though I want to be a doctor, PhD, whatever. Bleh. But for a bachelor's degree, the grand majority of people, how many people actually obtain their bachelor's degree nowadays? It's pretty wide margin, right? Is that fair to say from your experiences?
Yeah, you could say that, yeah.
At that point, how many people have worked to get their bachelor's? And there's just so many of them. And on top of that, what's the point of getting the education if people require you to have the experience for the job? Dog, the 4 years of college was the experience, but apparently not.
Because the thing is that companies
Well, depending on the field.
True. This is all depending on the field and what you're studying, of course. Because if you're studying 4 years and then become a PhD or whatever, then that makes sense. Because there's certain areas, certain professions that you need to go to school. I hope you go to school for if you want to be a lawyer or a doctor. If my surgeon pulled up to me and all I saw was his credentials at the top or her credentials at the top and it just says bachelor's degree, I'm cooked. So there's things you do need to go to school for. Don't get us wrong here. I think we all agree on that. But there's certain things such as business school, such as criminal justice. You know those things that people take just because they don't know what they want to do, so they take something just to go to college. Those things, stop doing those.
Save your money.
If you want to do those things, that's fine. But like even if you do decide that you want to do those, there's still other options in which you can learn and do them instead of just going to school. Not saying you can't go to school for them. Like for me, example, I went to school for business school. I don't regret that because even though I started doing it not knowing what I wanted to do, I ended up liking it. And that's one way I like to learn is through school. But not everybody learns that way. And what Manny was saying is like, when people want to go get their associates in science, in my opinion, if you're going to do that and specifically go for a job, you might as well just go to technical school. That's way better. If you're going to do a specific profession, I guarantee you there's a technical school that you can go to. And that's way better. You're going to talk about getting experience. You're going to know how to do the job like a professional after you get out of a technical school. And what Joseph was saying, and I agree with everybody, is like the bachelor's degree is not enough. The bachelor's degree is the new associate's degree. The master's degree is the new bachelor's degree when it comes to the professions that you would use it for. If you want to make your bachelor's degree like viable, you have to do work double overtime, going to school for your bachelor's just to have the piece of paper, and also go to internships or apprenticeships to actually gain experience in the field you want to go in, while also trying to figure out and navigate if that's even the thing you want to do, to then probably flip-flop between professions that you want to try out and figure it out as you go. And you only got 4 years to do it. That's not enough time unless you find out quickly.
That just sounds like wishful thinking.
It basically is. Like, you're just like, oh, let's see if this works. Like, let's see if this works.
So one thing I want to point out is what Frank said. So it seems like nowadays experience is more valuable than a bachelor's degree.
Yes.
Because as a person, and I won't give any examples of any companies because I won't do that out in the public. But I have been passed over when I have a bachelor's degree, and I'm gonna give an estimate of like 2 to 3 years experience in that area. But somebody who's been doing it for 10 years jumped over me, has no bachelor's degree, just has a high school diploma. That person jumped ahead of me and took the job from me. That is something that nowadays people need to start paying attention to, is that experience is valued over that bachelor's degree. Because I know throughout high school, teachers, your guidance counselors, your academic advisors pencil you in on going to college and making sure you get that bachelor's degree. But I'm going to tell you right now, as far as the world is going currently, a bachelor's degree is starting to lose that value slowly and slowly and slowly, to the point where eventually having a high school diploma will mean absolutely nothing. It will mean absolutely nothing when it comes to trying to get a career job. If you want to get like a regular job, pushing carts at Walmart, you want to go to like your local shops or something like that, yeah, somebody will hire you. But if you want to find a career job making about, let's just give an estimate, about $45,000 a year, you need experience. I'm going to say it again. Ready? Experience.
At least a couple years experience.
Sometimes. Because at least in my experience, not having the education, and I do have a considerable amount of experience for the past 8 years, let's say, in certain things, where it's like, you're good. And I've had interviews that went well for the most part. And then when it came down to it, I didn't get the job. I asked, like, hey, out of curiosity, like, what just happened, in terms of transparency.
Yeah, that's very good.
And for 2 to 3 jobs that I thought I was really going to get, and I didn't, and they were kind enough to, like, explain. And I was like, well, we do like your experience in this and that, but this person had a weird mix of both. They didn't have as much experience as me, but they had the degree to kind of back it up, and they went with them. Because sometimes certain companies, or a lot of things nowadays, do come down to optics and the political aspect of things, where it's just like, oh, we could have this person in such a position of power within our company, but if you look at the optics of it, technically this person deserves it based off of whatever societal business company criteria has been made in the industry, where this is the suitable example. But even though I could do the job just as good, if anything better, than the person with the degree, it's just like, well, they'd rather have the one that's a mix of both versus the one that's just the one side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, a lot of companies, and I'll just say this real quick so that way Frank can say his point. A lot of companies actually use AI technology to compare your resume to the person next to you. And if that AI doesn't choose you, you ain't getting the job. I'll just let you know that right now.
Yeah, HR and the hiring process has become super
downsized.
Not even downsized, streamlined. Because they're just, companies deal with so many applicants, and because of AI, they get so many applications. And because of the internet, they get so many applications. They can't keep up by reading through all of them. They have to use some sort of system to go through all of these things. And they use keywords. As far as I know, they use keywords, which is even worse. So if you don't have the specific keywords they're looking for, you might not even get put on their radar for them to even read it.
Yeah, and you may have that bachelor's degree, but as soon as they see more keywords in that other person's resume, you're cooked.
They might lean towards them. Who knows? They'll probably use their discretion, but at the same time, it also depends on, like Joseph said, on the company. right? Optics is so important. And really, what still kind of bothers me about it though is at the end of the day, they didn't pick that person in your example. They didn't pick that person because they thought that he would be better or they would be better for the job. They did it because it seemed safer just because he had the piece of paper. From my understanding of what people look at as the bachelor's degree or like a degree of bachelor's and under is just a piece of paper. Like, okay, hey, you did this thing. We can possibly trust you. Not that you can do the job, because like I said, companies have realized that that's why they want experience too, because they realize that people that are coming out with these degrees, they come in and they still got to teach them, which makes sense because they haven't been doing anything but learning the theory behind the job.
The
But
concept.
when they get there, they also have to learn how to actually do it. Granted, since they know the theories, they'll learn quicker, but that doesn't mean they'll know how to do it. And then you got to pay them to hope that they can possibly learn quickly to then do it. Like, you gotta realize the type of loss that these companies are taking by hiring somebody. If they're paying you $50K, they're expecting you to make them 10 times that. That's the only way it's worth it for them. And then in the beginning, they gotta realize that they're gonna be losing money on you, especially through the training. While they're training you, they're not making any money off of you, however long that takes. That's why there's a 90-day period. And if it doesn't work out, then they lost money on 90 days. So it's just really like that back and forth. Depends on the company, what they value over this, depends on the profession. When it comes to computer science or like technology and stuff like that, they're most likely going to favor a degree just because it's very technical. But when it comes to things like business or whatever the case it may be, that's a little bit more abstract, not as technical unless you're like an accountant or something like that.
It's a
That's
little bit
really
more of a gamble for them.
yeah, that's why they would probably favor experience more. That's why it's good for you to realize what you're getting into. And before you start going after something, especially if you're young, to think about, hey, I want to do this. What do they want from me? What will they be looking for from me? Will they be wanting me to have this? Would they be wanting me to have this? And that's why you can position yourself where you can get a job over somebody, even if they have more of one than the other than you, because you have everything they want. And I just want to make this last point is that I talked about young people and we talked about, hey, like you got to make a decision. But one thing you got to remember and understand that you can go back to school whenever you want. You don't have to be 20 years old. You could be 45 and go back to school and learn something different. I've seen it plenty of times.
Me and Frank had multiple classmates that were above the age of 45.
There was this one lady, she had 3 kids and she went to night school. If she can do it, you can do it. I promise you. She went to school full-time mom. That's insane. And she did it. She got her bachelor's degree because she wanted to get it. When there's a will, there's a way.
Granted, she had a very good support system behind her.
Facts. And she was blessed with that. But at the end of the day, you'll figure it out. There's online schools now. You don't got to go to the actual physical class. You can do it. But that's why I'm saying don't rush into it. Actually think about where you're getting yourself into and like, hey, this is what, and if you find out, oh, this is what they want from me, I don't want to do that, then maybe look for another profession or another career you might want to go into. Or maybe start your own thing. Who knows, right? That's going to be harder, but it's better to do something that you want to do and it's hard and do something that you don't want to do and it's easy.
That's a fact. So to answer that question that we had at the beginning, is a bachelor's degree worth it? I think it's, for me, I'm going to answer it first, then you guys can go ahead. For me, I say it's 50-50. It's 50-50 in each thing. But as Frank said, when it comes to technical work, yes, it has value. It has a lot of value when it comes to technical work. When it comes to your basic jobs, I'm saying it's more 50-50. Realize that more basic jobs want the experience over the piece of paper. So that's why I'm going to lean 50-50.
I would say that I'm inclined to believe the 50-50 notion because it's really hit or miss, depending on the field that you're going into, the job that you want to get. And because sure, you'll have the technical aspect of it, but then at the same time, you'll put in the work, yet what was seen in previous generations as like an esteemed position for that type of degree, essentially you're getting paid wages that you can't live off. So then how do you value that? Where you get into such amounts of debt and cost to go invest yourself to go to school. The sacrifices you're making if you're a parent, going to school full-time, working full-time, going to school part-time, whatever sacrifice you're doing to try to get this done. I've heard way too many stories where it's just not worth it. How are you going to go get yourself educated, get your degree that you've been working for, that you've been striving for? You're still telling me you're working that bachelor degree job and another 2 jobs just to make ends meet. That's insane to me. That's why I'm just like, I don't really have an answer. Because you could put in the work, but then on a case-by-case basis, it works gloriously. And other times, it is the biggest regret people have had. That I've had, the privilege of actually talking to them and their experience. Because I would like to go to school. Granted, I would like to be a doctor in quantum physics, but that's its own thing. And then I have the fear of just like, if I make the investment, will it pay off for me? Aside from me just wanting to learn. So that's where I stand.
Yeah, for me, the value of it has definitely decreased, and you can tell by the wages they're being paid from it. They're paying for it, like Joseph said. And I think I would stand more like not 50-50. Because when it comes to, I think experience is slowly getting, I would say 70-30. But when it comes to jobs, it's definitely leaning more towards experience for most things. Like the degree only and then when it comes to the degree, like even though they might want the degree, they'll want a master's degree for most jobs that'll take you through technical things such as computing or whatever. But when it comes to the value of it, like Joseph was saying, I didn't even think about that, but as Joseph was saying, the amount of money that you have to put into it versus the amount you're going to be making, that's why you have to really think about not only what you want to do, also got to understand like how much effort and money you want to put into it and how much you're going to get out of it. Because even though you shouldn't do things for the money, you shouldn't put yourself in debt over something that is not going to give you that same amount of money or value back, right? You shouldn't put all your value into something that's not going to give you all that value back, or at least 10x it. That's the point of spending money. You want to increase it, or at least go even, right? We're talking business. You're a business. You should invest in yourself. You shouldn't make bad investments. You shouldn't put yourself in bad debt. You should put yourself in debt into something that you know is going to give you a return, right? If you want to do it and it's a hobby, then you should also act accordingly in terms of how much you put your value into it, right? Yeah. Do your research, prepare yourself, make sure you're going the right path that you want to go to, and just think about how you want your future to look like and go on from there.
So the question we have for all of you is a bachelor's degree even worth it anymore? I want you to write your comment down below. If you want to have a longer conversation with us, join the Discord. We are ready to have that conversation as deep as it's going to be.
Don't wink.
Make sure you put a like on the video. Make sure you follow us everywhere to keep up to date with what we be doing. This has been the Triple Take. I'm Manny.
I'm Frank.
We be doing it all. I'm Joseph.
Peace.